Got your song turning back now. Listen to the radio. Got your name changing live. Changing up the sound. Listen up the lights. Oh, it's changing out tonight. Yeah.
If I can go like through other people's
up
body,
right now, singing up the sound, going down to the lights. And somebody told you that you never knew to change it up the light when you know. And tonight we're gonna change you, and everybody runs to the life that we will always be old. Got your song reason up now, turn it back, turn it around, you know. Got your life to go. I got the city going down to, nobody will tell to, nobody knows where you go.
Because NXT hates me when it comes to putting in sound packs.
Nobody turn back around tonight. Changing up the city lights, everybody running down. Tonight, we falling down.
No blessing or intent. There is no rest. Chronic depression.
Changing up the lives, changing up the life. And tonight, and every night, every night.
One of the biggest questions starting off this year was, how are we going to get students to really take ownership of this space? It wasn't an accredited class at the time, so there was no requirement for anyone to use the space for anything. Growing up as a kid, I knew that I cared a lot more about things that I built with my own two hands, so I applied that same concept to the early developmental stages of A3House, encouraging students to paint the walls, to rearrange their own workstations, to help me bring in pianos, and it really created a sense of ownership. These students were invested because they helped create this place. And what I found was that they wanted to spread that energy, that positivity to their friends, and it really created a diverse community within A3House. And we used that diversity to collaborate and to work together and build together. A lot of the music that we make in here is composed of sometimes 6 or 7 individuals, all from very different backgrounds with very different preferences in music. And I think in that sense, the studio has become just as much a family room as it is a classroom. A senior this year came up with the name A3House, and I like that because a house is a home. It's a place for kids to feel at home.
by the powers of knowledge, I was taken by the power.
Powers of knowledge, teaching.
Power of knowledge, teaching myself so I can teaching myself so I can might go to college. What you looking at? I habitual en carne. That sounds Dominican, red and white, my big Canadian. But I was taken by the powers of knowledge, teaching myself so I can might go to college.
Might go to college, teaching, man. Teaching, gotta say teaching.
Teaching like teaching, preaching.
So I think that, Chance, one of the great things about A3House has been how you've given Obed a voice. Obed was a student who came to the United States 2 years ago through the Dominican Republic, and it had been really hard for him to practice his spoken English. There was something just sort of trapped in him, and through his rap and his spoken word in the A3House, he has gotten a voice that he would have never been able to express otherwise. So the A3House has been really instrumental for him to practice his English, but also to develop ideas and concepts that were in him but could not be spoken. And through the research that he used for his raps, he learned how to research. He learned how to write better. He learned how to speak better with clarity and with feeling and with fluency. And we couldn't do that as teachers in the ESOL department. It really took you and the A3House to make that happen for him.
Wow.
And not just ESOL students, but other students across the campus, an opportunity to do something that they weren't able to do at school before. And that is really to find out who they are deep down inside and be able to express that in a way that is very poetic and very special to them and very culturally responsive. And so I think that has been the best thing about A3House, is that it meets our students where they're at and it pulls them into school.
My trigonometry classes came in and we studied sinusoidal waves, so sine and cosine waves, using the equipment to create sound waves and then compare them to one another. So the equipment that we used within the studio, we used the instruments. We also used different programs on the computers. So we were able to put several sound waves up at once that we had created, and then from there we could compare how a single note varied from a chord and how the frequencies and amplitude affected and canceled each other, reinforced the different waves. They were able to look at how the frequency affected the pitch using the different equipment, mostly because we were able to look at graphs on the computers based on the sounds that we were making right there. They were really creative. They were trying out different sounds and trying out different programs on the computers. And then when we went back to the classroom and were reflecting about our experiences, they were really inventive. They were thinking about different ways that they could use the technology that we had learned. One student wanted to make sound canceling blenders based on what we had learned about amplitudes. Another student wanted to study different animals and how their sounds could be incorporated, their frequencies, how they change. So just being able to see the graphs and have that hands-on time where they could create the functions that we had been studying was really important.
Und seine Legion of Stormtroopers haben ein Lichtsaber gemacht. Padme hat eine Pistole gebracht und Eric hat alle die Geschenke geliebt.
So one of my students in my German 2 class wrote a script about a story about our class, and we decided to make a movie out of it. And so we used Legos and we acted some stuff out, and then we realized that we needed to add the audio somehow. And so then we thought of A3House, and we came in and we split up the script so that each student could read part of the text, and I think it gave them a lot of confidence. And like I said, when they heard the final product, they were so excited. They were actually shocked by some of the extra things that had been added, and they just got really excited and wanted to hear it again and again. One thing we're trying to do more of now is give students opportunities to listen to different audio clips to differentiate what they're hearing. So I could definitely see how it would be useful to maybe have me record things in the studio and then have them listen to them, or have them come in and record themselves and then listen to what they've recorded. We're trying to do some of that on the technology that we already have in the classroom, but based on what I saw in the video that we had created, there's much more that we can even do here than we can do on the technology that we already have. We actually have a really cool opportunity coming up. The UVA German department is having their first ever film festival, and they're accepting submissions from high school and college students. So we're actually entering our video into that contest next week, and hopefully they'll enjoy it.
Und Eric hat einen sehr guten Geburtstag gehabt.
Hi, I'm Carrie Smith, Special Ed Department Chair. I get a lot of requests from teachers who are giving tests and they have a student who needs a read aloud. Students were leaving the classroom and staff was also being pulled away.
The read aloud system before the studio started was chaotic. Teachers would contact a special ed teacher asking, how do I provide this accommodation for the student in my class? The special ed teacher would then go to the department chair and ask, how do I provide the student with the read aloud accommodation for this teacher's class. My resources were hard to come by. The TAs were always being utilized with students either in small groups or helping another teacher or helping another student with specific needs. And this year it became just an absolute vital necessity to have something else in place because there was nobody available. I mean, it was getting down to who do we have in the building? You know, who can I ask, hey, can you do me a favor and do this read aloud for a student because I don't have anybody. I literally had nobody.
Wow.
That's how tough it was.
Do you think that, you know, having the test recorded beforehand, how did that cut down on like your need for actual adult aid?
It's eliminated it altogether. It's not even something I have to problem solve anymore, which means there's more focus on the things we need to be focusing on.
Do you know that the A3House has been like, you know, like fusion cuisine? You know how you can make like Korean tacos?
Yeah.
So the art house to me is like fusion curriculum. And it mixes all of the good content that we have to teach with the creation of music and language, and it really gives our students an ability to have a voice that they've never had before.
If I got to go that man with you straight, I feel big with the small thing I made. With the small thing I made, I spotted myself so I can go to the next level. The real truth you can't handle. Everything is ain't straight and go. Very last where I'm from. If you look at my Bengals, solo, we're looking for the free sample.